Hey everybody, this is Leslie from GoToKitchens.com. I am late today. I'm so late today. Usually I'm on at noon Mountain Time, and today I am not on at noon Mountain Time. Hi everybody, it's good to see you jumping in the room right now. Hello, hi. Oh, you guys are going fast. What's going fast on this end anyway? How are you guys doing? I am home. Look, I'm back in my office. Yay! It's been ages. Hi, it's good to see you guys. Hey, Janie. Hey, Rosemary. Thank you guys for coming back with me. Sorry, putting something away. Hey, Meg. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you. All right, I'm going to ask you one time and one time only. Yes, it feels good to be home. It feels good to be home, and I was really happy to see my dog. Hey, Dawn, you get to be on here because it's a crazy time for me to be on here. So I'm going to ask you one time right down here in the corner. There's a little bald-headed guy. If you guys please touch him and share out with your followers. I don't care if you have one follower. Put it out on Twitter. Put it out on Facebook. Wherever you want to put it, just put it out there somewhere, and let's fill this room up. So I remember to turn off my location. So, oh, awesome. That's so awesome, Juliana. I love that. Thank you guys for inviting followers so much. You guys, I love you. I love you. I love you. So on Monday, we talked about stumbling blocks for eating healthy. We talked about what may be standing in your way, or maybe what is causing you to not stay. Hi, it's good to see you, Clarissa. Maybe what's causing you not to stay on a healthy path. Yesterday, we did Healthy Eating 101 breakfast, and today I want to talk about Healthy Eating 101 lunch. We're going to go in order this week. So I have so many people. Sometimes I think that I forget as a I don't know if I consider myself a health professional, but kind of as a health guru, I think I forget that sometimes I need to go back to the basics and talk to you guys about the basic steps that maybe you need to take to getting yourself healthier and getting yourself into a more of an education and more of better habits about what to do to be healthy. Hold on, I have to turn off my heater. I'm afraid it's making some crazy noise with you guys. So today we're going to talk about lunch. Real quick, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Leslie. I have a website, GoToKitchens.com. It's right in the title of the scope, GO2kitchens.com. There's absolutely nothing for sale over there. The only thing that I want you to buy is I want you to buy into your own health. And then the other thing that I want to talk to you about is if you go over there and become a VIP, this is the last time I'm going to talk about this today. So if you go over and become a VIP, you have an opportunity to stay more personally connected with me because you get a link to a private Facebook page for the Go To Kitchens VIPs, and you can actually go there and talk to me. That's awesome. See, I need to remember that, Janie. You guys need to remind me sometimes if I'm getting in over your head that I need to go back to the basics and teach you the way that I was taught to eat healthy. So, but yeah, go to kitchens.com, go over and become a VIP. It just takes an email address. You get a newsletter in your email every other Sunday. There is no junk mail. Every once in a while, there's a holiday wish or something like that, but you get up to date information. So, I'm so sorry. I was traveling. We had to stop at the grocery store. I needed to eat lunch. I wanted to see my dog. So I'm sorry I was late today, but, but thank you. Thank you for saying so. Chastity, thank you so much for saying so. All right, so let's jump right into it and talk about lunch. Now, yesterday we talked about breakfast and how breakfast sets the tone for the rest of the day. So if you're eating a bunch of sugary, high carb, or low nutrient food, it is actually setting you up for disaster by the time you get to lunch. Because if you've had a donut and coffee for breakfast, then by the time you get to lunch, your body is in survival mode and it is craving all kinds of nutrients. All it wants is food. Just give me food, lady. Whatever you're doing, just give me some food. That's what your body is thinking, okay? Yes, and you're shaky by 10 a.m. That's right. You're looking for something because your body is not, your body's not getting what it needs. So by lunchtime, you're one of two things. You're so hungry that you force yourself to overeat because you think, because your body's like, oh, maybe she's not going to feed me again. And so I need to make make sure and eat enough at lunch. So Ben, it's the same thing, really. I knew what you meant, Dawn. So your body is hungry and it's looking for something. So typically what happens is it wants something fast. It wants it right then. And if you've not prepared with a good food, what's going to happen is you're going to end up standing in front of a vending machine, or you're going to end up at a drive-through at a fast food restaurant. And yes. Oh, I do too, Clarissa. I hate those. Hey, Maria, it's good to see you. So you end up at one of those drive-through windows, or you end up eating something that is not good for you. And sometimes it's because of necessity, and sometimes, awesome. I love that there's a before there, Juliana. So yes, so absolutely you make poor decisions if you've not set yourself up for success at the beginning of the day. So it's lunchtime. All right. So what happens? I'm going to give you 3 tips, right? I'm going to give you 3 consequences of skipping lunch. So I know, me too. I hate that when that happens. And it happens to me. I am guilty of that. Sometimes I will look up and it's 3 o'clock and I haven't even eaten yet. And I'm like, what happened? What'd I do? And then I think, well, there's no sense in eating because I just need to eat in a couple of hours. But then by the time I get there to eat dinner, it's like, I must have food. So I try to prevent that from happening. So it's lunchtime. Here's the quandary. Here's what happens. You go through to eat or not to eat. You know, I could get so much work done if everybody's gone to lunch, and then I have that whole hour to myself. And this is if you work in a job, or even if you work at home, I could get so much done. Yes, for sure. That will backfire most likely. I agree. No breakfast. So let's say you skipped breakfast altogether, or let's say you just drank a cup of coffee for breakfast. By the time you get to lunch, you are starving Marvin. I mean, you are so hungry, you don't even know, your brain is not even functioning properly. The other thing that might happen is that you don't do that anymore. Lisa, no, don't do it. The other thing that might be happening is that you ate a sugary breakfast. By the time you get to lunch, you want a bunch of carbohydrates, and your body is still looking for those sugary substance. So you end up eating a candy bar and drinking a soda. Oh my gosh. Seriously, I used to do this. So yeah, no breakfast is no bueno. I agree. And then 2, just know that by skipping lunch, you are not doing your body any favors. And that leads me to my 3 consequences of skipping lunch. Number 1, you are going to fizzle out. Okay, I don't care if you had a giant breakfast. I don't care if you had a breakfast that filled the table. If you do not find yourself eating lunch at about 2 or 3 o'clock, you are going to fizzle out, and it's going to be miserable. You're going to have brain fog. Sometimes you're going to get a headache. Sometimes you're going to just feel really tired. You're going to be irritable. You're going to be moody. You're going to be less likely to be cooperative with other people in your family. And then you end up overeating in the afternoon, or in the evening, excuse me. But the same thing will happen if you opt for that high fat, high carb lunch. So if you find yourself in the drive-through and you're not, that's right, fizzle is totally bad. But if you find yourself in that drive-through, then you are going to have kind of the same thing happen as well, because by 2 or 3 o'clock, all the little bitty, tiny micro bits of nutrients that you're getting out of that fast food, will be gone by 2 or 3 o'clock, and your body is going to be looking for something else because it wants nutrition. So, yes, very good. That's exactly right. Maria's spot on there. So healthy tip number 1 for eating lunch is eat lunch. That's my healthy tip number 1 for eating lunch is eat it. Just eat it. Just eat it. Eat it. Okay, sorry. I was doing a little weird owl there. But you guys, make sure that you eat lunch. All right. That is my healthy tip number 1 there. And then to choose foods that, number 1, are real foods, to choose foods that nourish the body. You don't like to eat lunch? I love lunch. It's one of my favorite meals. Yes, it does make a huge difference. Absolutely. I can't imagine you, Janie, being mean ever. I know, right? Seems pretty straightforward. Just eat lunch. just don't skip it. That's my number one tip there. Don't do it. So, breakfast is your favorite. Yeah, I actually like all 3 meals. Yes, don't skip meals. So choose foods that are nourishing to the body. I'm sorry, I'm looking down at my notes, you guys. I just want to make sure that I get it all right and get all my tips out to you guys, because I thought that this was a pretty good subject. So I want to make sure I get them all out to you. And then make sure that you are balancing your meals. So make sure that your lunch actually has all of the macronutrients that you need, which would be carbohydrates, proteins, and healthy fats. So making sure that you have all 3 of those components will carry you through till you get to dinner, probably with a little snack in there somewhere. So, all right. So that is my number 1 tip. So my number 2 point and consequence of not eating lunch is that there is no break for your brain. That's hard to say. No break for your brain. Maybe I should take a break. But there's no break for your brain. So if you're not stopping, if you actually don't sit down and eat some lunch, then there is no break for your brain during the day. And your brain actually needs a break now and again. It needs to sit down and cool off a little bit. So think about it as an engine, just running, especially if you're in a workplace, especially if you're in a high stress workplace, or you're even in a family environment at home. You need to sit down and take that break and take a load off. Just sit down and just let your brain relax a little bit and focus and be mindful about what you're doing. Because a lot of us, this is what we do. We sit down to lunch and we have our lunch in front of us and we have our phone right here. And I am so guilty of this, by the way. Oh my God, I am so guilty of this. So I'm not working. I'm not sitting at my desk actually working. I'm sitting at my dinner table, which is because I work from home, and I'm sitting there and my lunch is right in front of me, but my phone or my iPad is sitting right there as well. And so technically I'm still working because I'm answering emails and I'm reading funny comments on Facebook, and I'm not really taking time to relax my brain. And I'm certainly, that's right, take a load off, Sally. That's right. But definitely I am not letting my brain, yes, so crucial. I agree. But I'm not letting my brain stop. First of all, what I'm doing, stop working, Leslie. It's so hard for me. I work about 16 hours a day. And so it is, sorry about that. I have good internet. I'm not sure why it's freezing. But I have to stop and take a break. And so I have to be mindful of that. I have to close my iPad, leave my phone in my office. Sorry about that, Casey. I have to do all of those things because if I don't, I'm not even focused on what I'm doing when I'm eating. I'm looking down at all this great food that I've just prepared myself, but I'm not focused on, yeah, I work a lot. I'm building an empire, Maria, so I have to work. So, and this will just be a short period in my life that I have to do this, but I do work a lot. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my iPad, just shoveling down food and not being mindful of the nutrients and being grateful for the nutrients that are being put inside my body. So I have to be super mindful about that. And so if I'm looking at my iPad and working, I can't do that. Yeah, sorry, I'm having trouble there, it looks like. Oh no, that's a bummer. Okay, sorry, you guys will have to watch the replay, but don't leave. Don't leave. Nobody leave. Everybody stay. Yes, mindful eating is so important. So my healthy tip number 2 is, yes, always say thank you for your food. Absolutely. My helpful tip number 2 is giving your brain a break while you eat lunch. So it's not just important for your body to get the nutrients that it's getting at lunch, but it is also important to give your brain a break, to give it a rest. Even if it's 30 minutes, even if it's 15 minutes, if it's an hour, whatever it is, just sit down and stop feeling guilty about not working or not paying attention to the kids or not talking to your husband or not talking to your mom on the phone or whatever it is. is and just take a little time to, thank you, take a little time to sit down and enjoy the food that is being put in front of you. So just keeping that in mind. So that is my healthy tip number 2, is to actually give your brain a break at lunch. And if you don't like to think about stopping for lunch, then think about it as something that is actually healthy for you to stop. I love that. I love it. I love being disconnected. I actually like plane rides because I'm disconnected from my cell phone for like 2 hours. I don't have any internet, and I'm like, woohoo! I love this. And I actually end up giving my brain a break. I mean, I don't even read or anything. Sometimes I just sit and stare. Yes, time with that. I love technology. I love it. I love it. I love it. But sometimes I need a break. So I totally agree. So that's my healthy tip number 2. So the third reason, the third consequence of skipping lunch, in my opinion, is skipping lunch altogether creates a bad habit. Now, this is a big one for me. This is a huge one because I feel like that if you start skipping lunch or meals on a regular basis, one of 2 things happens. Number 1, your body, after a so long period of time, if it's not sleeping, your body will go into survival mode, and it is hardwired at that point to seek food. So no matter what you're trying to do, if you have not properly fed it or given it the nutrition that it's asking for, your body is hardwired to start thinking about, where am I going to get food from? I got to get some food. So it's hard to focus. It's hard to keep your focus. You get brain fog, you get irritable, you get moody. And so it's very, very important that you keep good habits of eating on a regular basis. So 3 meals a day. Sometimes Robin physically has to walk into my office and look me in the eyes, and he'll say, Leslie, look at me. And I'll look up from my computer. I'm like, what? What did you need? Did you need something, honey? And he'll say, did you eat today? I'm like, and sometimes my answer is, oh my gosh, no, I did not eat today. He's like, baby, you need to go eat. And I'm like, okay, I'll go eat. And so I'll stop what I'm doing and go eat. But that's because I'm just drilled down to get done everything that needs to be done in a day. Hopefully when I have employees, that will all stop. But at this point, it is all me. And so I have to make sure that I'm staying focused, but I can't stay focused if my body is looking for nutrients. My brain will wander off because my body is focused on one thing, and that is it's in survival mode and it needs food. So if you have ate breakfast, but it's been another 6 or 7 hours and you've been awake and been physically active and you still haven't had anything to eat, your body is definitely gone into survival mode and is seeking food. And that's where the irritability and the stress and the brain fog and the sleepiness and the tiredness all comes from. And worst case scenario, it starts using more energy, feeding off of itself. So feeding off of the stored fat and feeding off of, I know that sounds like a good thing, but it's actually not. Storing off the protein in the muscles, it will actually start feeding off of itself. So, oh my gosh, you don't want that to happen. That sounds catastrophic. So you need to be sure that you eat lunch. So over time, you will disorient your hunger sensations or your hunger signals. And if you continue, thank you guys for all the hearts. You guys are hearting it up today. If you continue to skip lunch or skip meals on a regular basis, you will actually disorient your hunger signals. In other words, you will fall into a pattern of, well, it's not time to eat because I'm not hungry. And that's because you've trained your gut and you've trained your brain that you don't eat at that time. And so you fall into these negative patterns, and then you get to dinner or lunch or anything like that, and you're starving to death, and then you tend to overeat at that point. And so it's a vicious cycle once you get into it, and it's a very, very hard pattern to break. One of the hardest things I have ever had to do is to try to train somebody to either eat lunch or breakfast. Those 2 meals, if you have been skipping them all your life, it is so difficult for me to untrain somebody out of that pattern. They'll tell me, but I'm not hungry. But you need to eat something. Your body is asking for it to eat something. And that's why when you get to your evening meal, you are starving to death and you overeat and you seek out, Thank you. And you seek out things to eat. And typically those are not great things. Those are bad things that you're seeking out to eat. And you want it fast and you want it convenient. You can't wait to make dinner. You have to go get something now to eat. So those are the bad habits that you can actually get into if you are actually skipping meals and you are overwhelming that sensory of, or retraining that sensory of being hungry. All right, so healthy tip number 3 is make time for lunch. These are such easy, simple tips. Just make time for lunch. Retrain yourself to eating healthy lunches. Over 50% of the world's population actually has an afternoon meal as their largest meal of the day. So in a lot of countries, they actually stop everything they're doing. They stop all the work. They take a couple of hours off, and they actually, some families actually get together even during the weekdays. They get together, and that is their largest meal of the day. So, I mean, there's something to be said for that. There's something to be said for having lunch as your largest meal of the day. It's actually quite healthy to do that. So, man, I see you guys popping in and out. My signal must be terrible. I apologize. I'm sorry that you'll have to watch on replay. That's just poo. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. But thank you if you came back to watch on replay. I appreciate it. So yes, so just making time for lunch, sitting down, taking a break from work. You know, a lot of people have demanding bosses that want them to work through lunch, that want them to stay late. If you don't work through lunch, then you end up having to stay late. And I think that that is just a terrible practice. And I would be tempted to say, you know, for health reasons, I have to stop for lunch. And, you know, I just can't imagine that any boss would not accept that and say, okay, you know, you need to stop for lunch. I mean, doing it every once in a while is one thing, but doing it on a regular basis is something completely different, and that is not healthy. So there you go. So that's my tip number 3, is to actually just make time for lunch. So very simple, 3 steps to follow along with. So let's put it all together. Just like we did yesterday, I gave you guys some ideas about what you should be eating for lunch. And here's some of my favorite lunch ideas. So number 1, how about this? How about a whole grain pita with red pepper hummus? My favorite. I love red pepper hummus. It's like one of my favorite foods on the planet. With red pepper hummus, fresh raw spinach on top of that, Greek yogurt with cucumbers chopped up in it, and maybe even some Greek spices in there just to, you know, kind of flavorful it up a little bit. Put that all together, make yourself a sandwich. It's so easy. You can take it on the go. You do not have to put all the components together. Just put everything in little separate containers and make the sandwich wherever you're at. I use it a lot when I'm traveling. It's actually a very convenient way. And if you wanted to add some protein, you could add some chopped nuts to that, or I know, I like pitas. Or you could add, you could just add some sort of protein like a salmon or, you know, a chicken or whatever it is that you like to eat. So here's another one of my favorites, a baked sweet potato with turkey sausage crumbles and feta cheese. One of my absolute favorites. I absolutely love a baked sweet potato with turkey sausage on top of that, and the feta cheese just lightly sprinkled across the top, maybe a little grass-fed butter or olive oil even on my baked sweet potato. So good, so easy. Absolutely easy. You can bake your sweet potato ahead of time, under bake it by about, 15 minutes in an oven, and then heat it up in a microwave if you're at work. Heat up in a microwave and then add all the ingredients on top of it. Everybody's going to be like, what are you eating? And why didn't you bring me some? Oh, awesome. I love it. So here's one of my favorite salads. I've talked about this a lot on fermenting week, the first fermenting week, not this past one, but the first one. And that is mixed greens with half a diced sweet apple. So getting a sweet apple, of course, organic, always organic apples. Don't ever buy apples or strawberries that are not organic. A sweet organic apple, dicing that up, putting it your nut of choice. I happen to like pistachios on the salad, but walnuts and almonds work really well as well. Crumble those nuts on top of that so you have a little bit of crunch on top of it. And then for your salad dressing, using just a plain sauerkraut and mixing all that together, and the sauerkraut acts as the sour, and the apple acts as the sweet, and the nut acts as the crunchy, and you're getting your greens, and it's like powerful, extremely powerful lunch. One of my favorite lunches as well. Absolutely adore that lunch. And then homemade turkey chili. I'm going to actually put up a recipe this week. By weekend, there will be a recipe up on GoToKitchens.com with all of these lunch tips, and it will have a recipe for turkey chili that you can make ahead of time and take it with you. It's that time of year to be thinking about chilies and that sort of thing, but this is a turkey chili. You can make it with or without beans, depending on if you are paleo or not. No, typically they don't. They're about the same. So yes. Yeah, this time of year, you probably want to stay away from strawberries. If you think you need to do strawberries, I would actually do, I would probably do frozen this time of year. I don't even buy fresh strawberries this time of year because they're not, they've come from a long distance at this point. So I try to buy organic, in-season, fresh produce. And if I can't get it that way, then I will buy it frozen. And if I can't get it that way, I just don't get it at all. So yeah, so that would be my suggestion for that. So yes, so a homemade turkey chili with toasted corn. You can actually toast corn. It's amazing when you do it. You cut it from the cob and you toast it just lightly in the oven with a little bit of olive oil, and it makes it, just gives the skin just a little bit of crisp. So yummy. And you can use spices on it if you want. A little bit of crumbled feta, and then a tomato avocado salad on the side of that. Fabulous. Best lunch ever. Hashtag best lunch ever. So another one of my favorites is to make spaghetti squash. Spaghetti squash actually does really well in the refrigerator. It is so easy to make. You can also make zucchini pasta if you were so inclined. You could do use the spiralizer to make zucchini pasta. Either one of those works, but the spaghetti squash tossed in olive oil with sliced cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, basil, olive oil, a little bit, in the summertime here in the United States, they are actually, and I'm sorry, I don't know where you're from, so that's why I had to qualify. I have people from all over the world watching me, but in the States, it's summertime is going to be best. So we won't have strawberries again fresh until, probably May, June is when they start, June really is when they start hitting the grocery stores. Yeah. So, but yes, so, tossing that, cherry tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, basil, tossing all of that in olive oil with some garlic. You can eat that cold just like that, or you can heat it up even. Yes, I love spaghetti squash too. Heat that up if you want. Do a little bit of a spicy chicken breast on top of that. Maybe spice with some cayenne or some hot red pepper. It's really, really a tasty lunch. You're going to really enjoy it. You could even do a little grate of Parmesan if you wanted, or pecorino. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they start... There you go. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, I knew it was late spring. Around here, we don't see really fresh strawberries until about June. So, but yes, but if you're not getting them, if you get them this time of year, they're typically coming from overseas somewhere, because, or sometimes in South America, but it's still a long ways for strawberries to get here, and they're going to be moldy and iffy, quite frankly. So, and hard to buy organic as well. So my other tip for this is to make dinner the night before, make 2 extra servings. So just make a couple of extra servings of dinner and take those for lunch the rest of the week. Package them up. Yeah, spaghetti squash. It's a great time of year for spaghetti squash. So yes, winter squashes are peak season right now. So great time to buy spaghetti squash. But so whenever you're making dinner, just make an extra few servings. So I'm assuming that you're making a healthy dinner. I'm hoping that you're making a healthy dinner. So make an extra few servings that you can just put in a nice glass container and take those to work with you the next day, or have them keep them in the fridge for lunch. It's so simple, super easy. That is one of my hottest tips that I give people. Just make a little extra dinner and use that, as long as it's a healthy dinner, and use that for your lunch the next day. That is a quick fix if you're in a hurry all the time and running around with your head cut off like I am, that is what I do. I make extra lunches and dinners. Actually, I prepare all of my lunches and all of my dinners for the entire week on Sunday. On Sunday afternoon, that is my time in the kitchen. That's when I cook. That's when I prepare. If I'm having, I mean, if it's a normal week, like this week I was in Tucson, so I couldn't do that. But if it's a normal week, then that's what I do. Yes, yeah, it is a great way. Good for you, Casey. Yeah, I love leftovers too. And my husband didn't used to like them, but he eats them just fine now, because if he's going to eat, typically it's going to have to be something that was reheated. Because that's just the way it goes. But if you're not in that habit, just make a little bit extra and have that for lunch the next day. It's so simple to do that. So just make sure that you've marked it in the refrigerator that, hey, that's mine. That's my lunch. So don't eat my lunch unless you're willing to give it away. So there you go. So now I want to talk about the temptations of eating out. A lot of us, you know, I used to be a 9-to-5er. I was a 9-to-5er for most of my life. Actually, I was a 9-to-5er. I worked at the corporate office in JCPenney, in the executive level. And I was a 9-to-5er, and I was constantly taking people out to lunch. So, and this was a trap door in my life, because I was constantly schmoozing with people. And so it was always at lunch, you know, hey, do you want to go to lunch today? Oh yeah, let's go to lunch. We'll have a meeting and blah, blah, blah. So I got into a really bad pattern of eating junky food. I mean, I would just, even if we went to a restaurant that had good choices, and this has been 15 years ago that I was in this world, but I would make really bad choices. And so I just want to address this concern just a little bit, and that is, if you have the temptation of eating out a lot, so your coworkers want to go out to lunch, and you like having lunch with your coworkers, or even if you're like me right now, I entertain a lot of people at lunch, and I have a lot of people that's when they want to meet me, is at lunch, and so I end up having a lot of lunches out, it feels like. So here are my tips and tricks for that. Number one, I always like to, if they suggest a location, I go and look at the menu ahead of time. So I ask them if they say, oh, that's awesome, Clarissa. I love it. I love it. But if they ask me out to lunch, if somebody asks me out to lunch, I ask them, oh, where would you like to go? And I ask them when I make the plan for lunch. So when I have on my calendar for lunch, I know where I'm going to eat, and I will actually look at that restaurant's menu ahead of time so that I can figure out how to make a good decision when I'm there. Okay. So that's number one tip. Number two for this is, I actually like to make the plan myself. So I end up inviting people. I know somebody wants to meet me for lunch, and I tell them, let me look at my calendar and I'll get back with you on a day that I can do that. And so when I get back with them, oh my gosh, I may have done this to some of you. When I get back with them, I say, that's absolutely right. You can see menus and ingredients. Absolutely. I always look at a menu of a restaurant before I go, just to make sure that there's something there that I will actually eat. So, so now I say, you know, hey, let me figure out a best time for me to go to lunch, and then I will contact you back. When I contact them back, I have a plan ready for lunch, and I'm like, hey, yes, let's go to lunch. Do you like Fiona's? I love Fiona's. I'd love to take you there. And I have made the plan, and I know it's somewhere where I can get whole real food. I know that even in some places I can get organic food. And so I have made the plan for lunch. And it makes it so much easier for me to find things to eat, because typically whoever I'm having, well, not nowadays, but old days, whoever I was eating lunch with, they didn't care where they ate. Nowadays, I do have a pretty picky clientele that wants something healthy to eat. So when I'm making lunch plans, typically it's whoever I'm inviting, they expect that I'm going to pick somewhere healthy. So, and you'll get a reputation for that as well. So the other thing is, that I have done before, and I am not ashamed to do this. If somebody says, hey, we're going to Chili's for lunch, do you want to go with us? Yes, I can go with you. But when I get there, I order just the plain basic house salad. I ask for lemons. I use the lemons and the salt. I ask them if they have any oil or olive oil on the side. I make my own dressing on my salad, and then I order just a plain protein. So a grilled chicken breast with nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I know I have a bad connection. I can tell by the number of people that are here. So yeah, so I just order a plain salad. I ask for lemons, and I use lemons and salt. And then I ask if they have an olive oil that I can use, or if they can bring me a little cup of olive oil, and I make my own dressing right at the table, and I order a protein on the side. So just a grilled chicken breast, or even just a hamburger or a steak or something like that, whatever, some boiled eggs, whatever it is. Then I put my protein on the side, and then I've had lunch, and I can participate in lunch at Chili's. And I can, and I'm still eating well. So making those decisions, making that ahead of time, making that choice, making the decision in your mind that you're not going to go there and have the twice baked potato skins. Is that what they're called? They're called something like that. They're called potato. Anyway, I used to love those little boats, the little potato skins. Those used to be like my favorite food on the planet. And let's just go ahead and fill those up with ranch dressing. That was my favorite. I loved it. Oh my gosh, true confessions right here. And then the other thing that I want to offer up for the challenging lunch situation, and that is offer to make lunch for somebody. I do this all the time. When I want to control ingredients, when I want to eat something healthy, or I know that I need to eat something healthy or whatever, then I want to control the ingredients, then I offer to make the lunch. So somebody asks me to lunch, I will say, oh, that's awesome. I would love to have lunch with you. Why don't you come to my house and I will make you lunch? And they're like, oh, that's so special. They just feel special. I feel great about it because I love to cook for people. Yeah, that's the only one that's doable. I completely agree with you. Okay, yeah, twice baked potato skins. Oh my gosh. I used to love those. Okay, I wouldn't put it past me to have one of those if somebody put it in front of me. They were so good. They were so stupid good. Anyway, okay, that's totally off subject. They were just piled high with cheese though, like this much cheese and like this much potato, and yeah, nothing good in there. Nothing good in there at all. So, but yeah, so offer to make lunch for somebody. You can even do this at work. If a coworker says like the day before, hey, I'd love to go to lunch with you tomorrow. Say, oh, that'd be awesome. You know what? I'm going to bring lunch and we can have it in the conference room. What do you think about that? And then we can get some work done or whatever, so yes, absolutely. Lisa, yes, Lisa, you should come here for lunch. I would love to have you. If you will come here, I will make you lunch. How's that? That goes for all of you. Anybody that comes here, I will make you lunch. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. So there you go. There's my tips on eating healthy. Eat lunch. Don't skip lunch. Don't skip breakfast. We're going to talk about dinner tomorrow. You don't want to skip dinner either, but we're going to talk about dinner tomorrow and the importance of dinner and the importance of timing of dinner. Yeah, let's go. Everybody on the plane. Get here now. Actually, my housekeeper doesn't come until tomorrow, so you got to come after tomorrow. So after Thursday, you can come on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm open. The go-to kitchen is open anytime you guys are here. So come on down. Let's go. So there you go. There's my tips. Eating healthy 101 at lunchtime. And tomorrow we're going to talk about dinner and the importance of dinner and the importance actually a little bit of family time at dinner. And we're going to talk about etiquette, about turning off phones and all that kind of good stuff. And I'm going to throw down some tips to make dinner more appealing without your phones. So we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So it's not all about food always. It's also, your health isn't just what you're stuffing into your mouth. That is not all your health is. Your health is a lot of things. It's the amount that you're sleeping. It's the amount that you're exercising. It's your mental health. It's your, that's right. Go to kitchens. I see. It makes so much sense. Absolutely. Maybe one day, I'm hoping that Go To Kitchens is going to get to go on tour. No, it's not. It's totally not. I have driven 7 hours for shoes. You can drive 7 hours for lunch. I'm totally kidding. Can we see what veggies and stuff you got at the grocery store? Not right now. You can't. my kitchen. That's why I'm not in my kitchen. It's a total mess. There's luggage everywhere. I promise you, maybe later this afternoon. It's a 4-hour flight for you. Yep, I understand. But yes, I will definitely show you guys what I buy when I go to the grocery store. So yes, I can do that, but not, in fact, it's just all just sitting out because I didn't have time to put it away yet. So, because I do a lot of prep before I actually put things away. So yes, but we can talk about that. We can talk about grocery store tips, grocery store trips in general one day if you guys want to do that. So what to look for when you go to the grocery store. Basically, I buy a lot of cruciferous vegetables. I buy a lot of greens. I try to buy tons of color. I mean, you just name it, there's tons of color there. So half of my cart is full of, no, that's okay. Be nosy. I don't mind at all. It's just right now I just can't do it. So, but half of my cart is always vegetables and produce. So you guys are making plans. But what I was going to say is that one day I'm hoping Go-To Kitchens will be on tour, and where I actually go to people's kitchens. That's actually part of the show idea that they're kind of pitching, is that, you know, going to people's kitchens. And I can say that because there's not very many of you here right now. So, but actually going to people's kitchens. And so who knows, maybe I'll be knocking on your door. Hi, I'm here. It's time for lunch. And I'll come to your house and make lunch. How's that? I love cooking in other people's kitchens. It's like one of my, talk about nosy, Clarissa. Oh my God. Oh no, it's Janie that said that. Talk about nosy. Oh my gosh. I'm pretty nosy when we get to a kitchen. I like to see how people do things. And I learn something every single time I'm in somebody's kitchen. I mean, there's hardly any time that I'm in somebody's kitchen that I don't learn some cool tip. And so they just keep piling and compiling in there. So yeah, I love cooking in other people's kitchens. It's one of my favorite things to do. That's why I named my company Go-To Kitchens. I know, right? Sounds like a plan. I agree. Let's make that a plan. Okay, so I am go to yours first. Come here. I know, you guys, I swear to you. That's okay. It doesn't matter. You know what? My kitchen is not, you guys have seen my kitchen. It's from the 80s. I have blue countertops. It's gray. I mean, it's like blue, gray, marbly, ugliest countertops on the planet. I have tile that's like from 1980s on the backsplash. It's so awful. Yep. That's where the Go-To Kitchens, that was the first thought of Go-To Kitchens, is actually going to people's kitchens and cooking with them. And if you watch some of my YouTube videos, you'll see that I have done lots of things in people's kitchens. So what's for dinner tonight? Oh, what's for dinner help? What does that mean? Do you need help for dinner, or do you want to know what tomorrow's tips are? Because I'm not telling you tomorrow's tips. Yes, nice, nice cozy kitchen. Hi, Diane. Oh, that's Diane. Hi, Diane. It's good to see you. What do you mean? Do you need help for what you want for dinner? Let's see, Diane. What do you want for dinner? You need some veggies. Oh, I'm froze. Yeah, I'm getting that complaint a lot, actually, that I'm freezing up. I apologize. It's maybe my internet is shocked because I'm back and working. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I apologize for that. That's been a solid complaint today. We had like 30 people and everybody dropped off because of the freezing. So I apologize. Have to watch the replay. Tomorrow's tips are a secret. They're not a secret, but Brussels sprouts, yes, amazing. Roasted, steamed, anything like that. I like to actually do Brussels sprouts with a brown, my brain just went dead. What's the long grain rice that I really like? Basmati, with a brown basmati rice. So Brussels sprouts, chicken, and basmati is one of my favorites. Cooking the basmati in a vegetable stock or chicken stock is the best way to cook it. And you can do it all in one skillet on the stove, which is one of my favorite tips. Yep, cook your chicken first. So brown your chicken first, right? Brown it first, get it nice and brown. So you're going to do like fillets or cutlets, you know. Brown those first, take those out, set them aside, then use the chicken bits on the bottom, pour your veggie stock in, pour your rice in, get your basmati all scrumbled up in there and where it has a nice little white coating on it. And then take the vegetable stock and pour that over that and let it steam down just a little bit where there's about half half the liquid left, and then put your Brussels sprouts on top of the rice in the same skillet. And then after those are done, put your chicken back on top of that and let all of it heat up again together. And it's the perfect one skillet meal. Yeah, one skillet meal, one skillet meal. I know, I'm Frozen. Frozen. I don't even know any songs from Frozen, or I would sing them. Yeah, so that's a quick, simple. When I talk about eating simple, you guys, I eat very simply like that. Robin and I, on a daily basis, we eat very simply. I only make complicated meals when I'm showing you guys something, or I'm cooking for friends or family or something like that. But mostly we eat very, very simply, which is good. Yeah, scrambled up. That's right. With good, nutritious meals. So. All right, so if you were here, thank you, Rosemary. Thank you for being here. If you were here joining me for the tips and the dinner and the lunch and all that, that is all over. We're going to go straight into inspiration right now. I'm going to take about 5 minutes and talk to you guys about my inspiration. I have to tell you that it was a great weekend for me. My brother-in-law, who has never, since, I know it's so yummy, my brother-in-law, who as an adult has not lived in a home. He's lived in a apartment or a condo or something like that. He has not lived in a home since he was with his family. And so this weekend I had an opportunity to go there and help him decide on which of the homes that he should buy. And Robin and I did. And it was an amazing journey, and I learned so much about him, and I learned so much about his city, and I learned so much about the homes there, and I also learned about what I liked and didn't like in a home, kind of things that I had forgotten, and it was just an amazing journey. And so my inspiration is that I want you guys to think about, when is the last time that you stood up and took time out of your schedule to help somebody else? Now, this was not like major help. This was just, hey, you want to come with me to look at houses? And I was like, yeah, let's go look at houses. But it was, hi, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. But it was good to step away from my life and step into my brother-in-law's life and help him make a decision, a very, very important decision about his new home. And I just want to encourage you to think about, when is the last time that you stepped away from your busy schedule? I am so busy right now, and it was a lot for me to take time out to go and do this, but I knew that he really wanted us to, and I really wanted to do it. And so it was an amazing journey. So think about your family, think about your friends. Maybe you have a friend that's about to move, or you have a friend that is transitioning, or maybe you just have somebody that needs some help to go and make a decision on a car or a TV, I don't know, or a blender. I don't know, anything like that. But when is the last time that you stopped what you were doing and looked into somebody else's life and said, hey, I think you need some help here, and I want to come help you? Or somebody asked you to help them and you said, no, I'm too busy, I can't do that. Or you thought, God, that's really going to be a bummer, I really don't want to do it, so you don't do it. But thinking about being a little bit selfless, because it's easy sometimes to be selfless with people that we don't know, with strangers on the street. Sometimes it's completely easy to be selfless with those people, but thinking about being selfless with your family and your friends is kind of a whole nother ball game. So take time. I promise you, through that journey, you will learn something about yourself. You'll learn something about your loved ones, and probably learn a little bit about what you're missing in your life. So I just want to encourage you to think about that. And this is the time of year to be thinking about those things. So yes. So, and then again, just always being grateful. Holy cow. I mean, knowing that your life can change on a dime like that is really powerful. And this is such a powerful time in his life. And I've had powerful moments like that in my life. And so just taking advantage of those and absorbing the knowledge that comes with those moments in life, I think is so, so important. So there you go. There's your inspiration for the afternoon. I love you guys. I will be back here. Sorry for freezing. I apologize. I really do. I'm so sorry. I will try to fix that and get it straight for tomorrow's scope. I will be back here tomorrow at noon Mountain Time. That's 11 Pacific and 2 p.m. Eastern. And we will talk about Health 101, Healthy Eating 101 dinner. And I will break down some things to make it a little bit easier for you and to make it more satisfying at your dinner table. So again, my name is Leslie. GoToKitchens.com is the website. So I hope you go check it out. And if you feel like you want more connection with me, if you feel like you want to know more or you have questions, the best way to do that is to become a VIP at the GoToKitchens website. It says VIP. You join right there. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you too. I love you guys. But it says become a VIP, or it says VIP access. You click that. You give me your email address. You get a newsletter every other Sunday. That's it. It's very short, very easy newsletter. And then you get an invitation to become part of a private Facebook page, which is the Go To Kitchens VIP Lounge. And that place at the Go To Kitchens VIP Lounge is where I do most of my talking with you guys. So okay, I promise I will. I will. Yeah, my housekeeper comes tomorrow and my kitchen will be clean. So it's just that I haven't been home and I kind of left it in a mess, quite frankly, because I was kind of frantic when I left. So yeah, so I will do that for sure. So there you go. I hope you guys have an amazing evening. Go eat something healthy. Think about dinner. Think about dinner and making extra for lunch tomorrow. All right, love you guys.